All right, welcome back, everybody. My name is Aaron Pfeiffer, and I am joined today with Monika Anderson of Kameleon Digital Marketing, Social Media Management, and Website Design. Hi,
Yay!
thank you for
Hi.
joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us a little bit about your company, Kameleon Digital Marketing.
hmm we've been around a little bit of over 2 years, and like you said, our most focus is social media management, which is a very high demand area nowadays, I have to tell you. And web design is our secondary focus. So, I mean, we've been in the Denver area for a while now, and we focus on small businesses only.
Small businesses only.
Yeah.
Lots of need for that in the social media world, right? Low
Yeah.
cost advertising, lots of reach, a lot of people you can reach through that, right?
That's right. And so small businesses really need a good use of social media because it makes them look bigger than
Right.
what they are. So they're able to reach a higher audience than what they would with just their, offline presence or their storefront. So
Right.
I recommend all small businesses to really take advantage of the power of social media and try to engage with people.
Yeah. Well, and that's always the big debate, right? Is okay, social media, everybody says I need to be doing it. Half the people still don't believe that or don't do it. What do you think makes the big difference with social media versus print advertising or anything else along those lines?
Um, well, I think the big deal is the number of people you can reach with a small amount of money. Like you
Hmm.
said, if you just put $8 to $10, $15 to a Facebook ad, you already can reach like hundreds of people.
Right.
Can you do that with flyers? Probably not. It's gonna cost you a little more money, and literally, like, think about your own behaviors. I mean, I know I go to my mailbox like once a week,
Hmm.
grab the stash of paper out of it, look through it, and most of it goes straight to trash. So,
Right. Yeah. That's absolutely true. That's right. Well, I think it's important too to realize that when you're doing the social media, and what I have found, I'm sure you know this way better than I do, is you can actually target your audience, right? So you can say, do you want men or women? Do you want this age group? What interests do they have?
of
So if
course,
people
yeah.
have their profiles up to date, which I personally am very guilty of, I don't use my social media all that much
So you're
anymore.
not that easy to target, yes.
Yes, right. But you can actually target people, whereas for that same $15 of flyers that you printed and then walking up and down the parking lot and dropping it under
hmm
windshield wipers, um, you're hitting anyone and everyone, and most of them probably aren't even interested buyers or
They might
care
not
at
be our
all.
perfect customers. That's right. So Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, for that matter, they're really good at laser targeting. That's
Hmm.
true. So you mentioned age, male or female. You mentioned behaviors. However, the latest ads that I've been putting on Facebook reminds you that they're taking away behaviors. So
Right.
you're not going to be able to target people based on their
There you
behavior
go.
anymore. So I think, I don't know, it's the ever changing world of social media.
Right.
But I think Facebook's been targeted, and criticized a lot. They like almost like stalking people. They know too much about
Right.
them.
Yeah. They know everything.
Yeah. So I think now they're trying to, counterfeit it and scale back a little bit about
Right.
how much targeting you can do. But it's still gonna be a really good, kind of focus on who you're gonna talk to.
I think that's great information to know that Facebook is changing their algorithms. What other big trends or macro industry trends are you seeing? Say Facebook or LinkedIn, some of these different ones. What else are they doing that's new and different in the world?
Oh, well, they're changing things every day.
Right,
You
exactly.
literally need to keep up, like not just a weekly basis, on a daily basis. Facebook just what's happening is you should see it pop up on your Facebook business page
Hmm.
that they're redesigning of the look based
Hmm.
on functionality. So your buttons or highlighted areas might change, but you have the say of picking which one you feel is best for you. They're gonna recommend you one
Right.
based on whether you're a service business, a product business, or something else like a nonprofit. So they're gonna recommend you one, and then if
Hmm.
you don't step on it, they're gonna change it automatically. But so pay attention because right now that's
Because
what's
it's all
happening.
in flux all over
Yeah,
again. As soon as you think you know it, it
yeah.
changes.
And then another thing, actually a couple of things. Facebook groups are really, really popular.
Hmm.
And if you're someone who can't really afford a lot of money on advertising, on social media, then you should have the time or make the time to be part of a few Facebook groups, because building credibility in there can bring you customers. So you can basically like collect followers from Facebook groups fairly easily. And another thing is Instagram. Instagram is the fastest growing one of all the social media networks right now. Um, and they cater a little bit towards the younger people. So, people in their 20s, 30s are the highest audience there. And Instagram mostly communicates like feelings and, like, so don't try to be salesy on it.
Right. Well, I think that's, are you familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yes.
Who isn't, right?
Yeah,
in the social media world,
course.
right? But he makes a very good point, which is every platform you have to treat differently, right? Instagram is very photo based, so you need to have photo based things. What you put on Instagram isn't necessarily what you should be putting on LinkedIn either. They're different markets, they're different audiences, right?
Yep, yeah, true.
What other social medias are there right now that you are aware of or interfacing with? We've talked a little bit about Twitter, a little bit about LinkedIn, Instagram. What else is there? Any other big ones that we should all be aware of at this point?
Because because I focus on small businesses, I really understand their sometimes lack of resources. Let's just face it. You just can't do everything.
Right.
So I usually not recommend to go towards new things and upcoming things, because your audience will probably not be there for a while.
Right.
So Facebook will be always one that I recommend to manage well, because most everybody's on Facebook. Period.
Right.
And then my personal favorite is literally LinkedIn, because it's such a great business to business connection.
Right.
And a lot of us, especially small business owners, need support from other small businesses. So,
right. Absolutely.
So I recommend to have a decent presence on LinkedIn as well.
Right.
And for some businesses, business to business there is their main focus, while others it's business to client.
Right.
But even if you're a business to client kind of business, you should have a presence on LinkedIn.
Right.
And I literally spend some time every day reading articles, because experts put out such high quality content on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they do.
Literally any industry, you can find very, very interesting articles, and you can learn a lot.
Right. Yeah, I actually like to get on LinkedIn, the news feed and some of the different groups I follow. That's my news for the day. And then it's my education for the day. Okay, what do I want to learn that's new today? You just keep scrolling through the feed and eventually you find something.
Absolutely.
I attended a LinkedIn marketing course not too long ago, and they were actually saying that LinkedIn is seen as the same level of credibility. The information that's shared on LinkedIn is seen as the same level of credibility as the most reputable news organizations, CBS, Associated Press, and everything along those lines.
Yeah.
And they said they pride themselves on that. They try to wipe out all of the fake news and all of that, and they try to put good, qualified content on there. So, anyways, that's a bit of a tangent, but
no, I think it's important to talk about these things,
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned groups, and it's funny you say groups. This is the second time I've heard this, and this is just as many weeks. A contact of mine was actually saying they have started using Alignable, which I want to ask you about next. But he had said that he has had huge success through the groups as well, building the credibility, engaging regularly, building some followership, and actually getting paid clients through groups. So a little validation to that point. But what is your opinion on Alignable? That's one that I'm hearing a lot of buzz about right now. Everybody's getting the email to join.
Yeah.
And then they go on, they set up their profile, and then doesn't sound like there's a lot of stickage to it right now. What's your thoughts on it?
So surprisingly, I'm already highly recommended on Alignable, and I do very little to achieve that. So I like the fact that it's local. So you basically can find local businesses very easily and connect. And for some businesses, depending on what your product or services, it's important, right?
Right.
So I like Alignable at the beginning because it was easy to start conversations with businesses. Right. I literally went through the new people that just joined, and whoever I was interested in as a business, I just reached out, hi, how are you? Can we meet for a coffee or something, right? And I actually did get business out of it, some consulting. So I totally think that it has potential.
Yeah.
However, I don't like how often, they email you to try to like
Right.
nudge you, oh, you haven't been on it for 3 days or 5 days, or how come you're not connecting with everyday business? Well, because I'm busy, running my business,
Right.
and not everybody is my potential client. So I think they still need to work out a few kinks. But the concept is good,
Right.
the connect over coffee or just connect over a phone call, and that it's local. So I think that part is, it's essentially like a chamber of commerce, right?
Right.
Online.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a
So
great way to picture that. Because you're
yeah,
right, it is your local neighborhood. There are some larger forums you can look at and questions, but it's really targeted towards your local community.
yeah. So the one thing, I don't know if you noticed, but now they're trying to like have like a paid,
Yeah.
little feature in there, because now you have a certain number of local credits that you
Oh,
can
that's
use to
right.
connect with people.
That's right.
So they're going down the same path as, like Instagram and Facebook,
Right.
because somehow you need to make
You
money.
gotta make money somehow. Nothing is free, right? Nice. So tell me, you had mentioned small business is really where your focus is. What are some of the biggest struggles that you see small business owners face with their social media? What is some of the best advice that you could give a small business owner if they're trying to implement this on their own?
Yeah. I think you notice it very fast whether you're good at it or not.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you need to be honest with yourself. If you're good at it, um, you can go ahead and just keep up to date on, what's happening, what kind of posts you should put out, what are the trends, like, like everybody knows videos are trends, for now.
Right.
Then do it. However, I've seen plenty of people that have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. And if
Yeah.
you put out content that's like maybe 10 times a week and you have no engagement, then trust me, you're not doing something right.
Right.
Then you should reach out to somebody, either at least for a consultation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or hire somebody to do it. But then two things I noticed, like especially with small business owners, right? Let's say they hired somebody for their business that's not necessarily a social media person, but they want that person to also manage social media.
Right.
Usually, if it's not somebody trained or keeps up with, things, that's not gonna be the perfect person for you.
Right. Well, like we said, it changes almost every other
All
day,
the
it seems
time.
like, right?
Yes. And the interns are great and all that, but also, it's different to manage your own personal profile than a business profile, right? And the other thing I noticed is that people go for like a cheap solution, a company that manages their social media from whoever, definitely not locally, and they put out generic content that's like a cute picture with a question, and nobody ever engages with that.
Right.
So why do you pay for something that doesn't bring in any results?
Right. What are some good results, speaking of which, that we should be looking for? And some people will say, well, it's engagement, it's clicks, it's comments. What do you look for as a professional in this space?
So usually I look at social insights at the end of each month, just so I know what's been going on, right? So only two numbers is really interesting to me: the number of people reached and the engagement number. So if those two numbers, have their correlation is, well, I would say if it's a 10% or higher, that's already good.
Right.
But I have pages that I just talked to one of my clients that had 80% engagement. That means everything you put out is so interesting that people want to talk to you, right? That's like a very, very, very well managed page with interesting content, right? So if you only have 1 or 2 or 3%, which is like the organic norm, then you need to like try things, right? You need to like post questions. You need to post an offer. You need to come up with a contest. You need to show what's going on in your business, right?
Right, exactly. Well, I like that you talk about both people reached and engagement, because what I find myself and with other clients and other folks that I network with, engagement is always lower than the people that actually read it or enjoy your posts, right? Number of times I've gone out and I've made a post out there, maybe it's only had a few people engage with it, but then later I go out and I have a conversation. I see somebody and say, "Oh, I saw your stuff on LinkedIn. I absolutely love the information, or I love that podcast."
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you click the like button or thumbs up or share?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But people reached and engagement. Those are your two key areas.
Yes,
I think that's great insight.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
I talk to so many people, like potential clients,
Mm-hmm.
that talk about like, how can I reach like 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 followers? And to me, those numbers don't mean anything.
Right.
Even if you have 10,000 followers, but you only talk to like 5 of them, that's like a very, very low engagement.
Right.
Like that's not a quality anything, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
to me, quality is always first over quantity.
Right.
Right.
Quality over quantity always. I'm curious, what programs do you recommend as far as social media management? There's Hootsuite, there's all kinds of these other ones. There's actually Thrive has its own piece to it as well. What do you use, and what have you found works well or doesn't work well?
So I'll be honest with you, I try to avoid them so far.
Okay.
But since I went on a nice long vacation recently, I was forced to use Hootsuite, so I'm happy with Hootsuite. But I think others, they probably all fine, The reason I don't recommend using it with Facebook, because one, Facebook already has a built-in scheduler.
Right.
And Facebook algorithms are very tricky. Mm-hmm. They pick up on you using social managers, the softwares.
Interesting.
And it's gonna actually hurt your reach. So ultimately, for Facebook, I would just recommend to manage everything just from
straight
Facebook.
Into it. That's
same with like videos. Facebook videos organically, uploaded to Facebook will perform way better than if you upload it to YouTube and post the link to YouTube, because Facebook and YouTube are competitors.
Right.
Facebook's algorithms will pick out that YouTube link, and they're not gonna, they're not gonna put it in front of a lot of people.
That's interesting. That's actually very good to know. I personally don't use Facebook all that much anymore. The only posts that go out there are all through my social management tools. So
Yeah. Well,
good to know. Maybe I need to log in and actually take a look at it. See, I'm guilty just like most of our listeners, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's okay.
So what are some really cool opportunities that you see right now in the world of social media that are new or upcoming, or we could use as businesses to take advantage of our marketing, take it to another level?
Let me think about it. Well, if you haven't started at all, there's a whole wide opportunity for you to start.
Right.
Doesn't matter how intensely, just start somewhere.
Right.
Start posting once a week. And then increase it to twice a week.
Right.
And then grow with your comfort level, right?
Right.
Really write down first who your perfect client is. Write it down, because if your perfect client is like a 40, 50-year-old, then go for Facebook.
Right.
If your perfect clients are young teenagers, high schoolers, then really just focus on Instagram, maybe Twitter, right?
Right.
If you're business to business, like we talked about, start with LinkedIn.
Right.
Just look at your competition, see what they're doing, see who has engagement and why.
Right.
What are they doing? What are the kind of content pieces that engage people?
I think that's a huge point in any marketing strategy, right? Know what your competition is doing and see what is working for them. You've got a wealth of data. If you can go to their LinkedIn page or their Facebook page, you can see all of their posts, see what was working well, and then you can use their experience to your advantage and shortcut that, hopefully, and target those same customer base. Hopefully they've refined it a little bit and you can actually just jump right onto their bandwagon.
Yeah, well, don't be a copycat, don't do the same exact thing, of course. But there's so much you can learn just by observing and watching and spending a little time on research.
Right. So I have to ask you this, because my logo and my business name and all of that, I spent way too much time on, have this great story for, and I always tell people this. And I love the chameleon of your business. So I've got to imagine there's a really good story or a good meaning behind your logo and the company name.
Yeah, when I was thinking through, what my business is going to be about and how it's going to work, and wrote the business plan, all that, I literally spent some days over, what should it be called, right?
Right.
I don't like generic names, no meanings, business or worldwide or fancy, but they don't, stick really. So
Right.
I wanted to, find something that people can easily recognize or remember.
Right.
And I think animals are sort of that category that no matter what you pick, people are like, oh yeah, it's like a dog, or
Right.
especially in a logo, people are people and animal
Right.
lovers. So, but then I was thinking of the word of social media,
Hmm.
and it's not that new anymore, right? It's probably been over 10 years, but still a fairly new industry, not like doctors or lawyers, right?
Right.
So, and what I notice and recognize is that it's changing so much and so fast, right?
Right.
You need to find, or I need to find, a symbol of this. So the chameleon is the animal that, changes according to its environment.
Right.
It blends in, it changes colors. So I kind of just want to represent the area of social media and marketing, that it changes. You need to like go with the flow and
Right.
pick up on what's trendy and what's new.
Right.
So that's the connection there.
Right. I kind of like the way you use blend in that as well too. And maybe this is my own thought process, but the idea of you're engaging with people in their home on a personal level generally through social media. So the right content, most experts would agree, is not necessarily something that just totally stands out and has nothing to do with the person. You want them to engage, you want them to feel it, you want to blend into their life so that your brand becomes synonymous with their personal life and they're always you're part of it, right?
Yeah, I know I use that.
It's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That's my over analytical mind for you.
You do have a little like, okay, I'm trying to follow. But I did see a couple of chameleons at Petco the other day,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, oh, I should buy
You
them.
need one.
I'm like, when can I get one for my office?
That's
and
right.
then we'll have some chameleon stories on Instagram or Facebook.
That's what you need. You need your little mascot, right?
Yeah.
What would the name of your mascot be?
Ooh,
Ooh,
you put
all
me
right,
on the spot with
we're not there yet. Okay,
Maybe
that's
Frank
fair.
or Molly, I don't know.
Okay, something generic. That's fair enough. So tell us, as business owners, maybe we're still on the fence about should I be using social media? Should I be using it more? Should I be using it less? What's some really good success stories that you've actually seen? And truthfully, if you feel comfortable talking about it, what are some failures you've seen and why?
Yes, I actually do have both. So let's be honest, when you're in business, it's not going to be all like pink clouds all the time. But I do have plenty of success stories, and one that sticks out has been a fairly, let's face it, it was a fairly boring kind of service or product to talk about, but with a very specific niche target audience.
Mm-hmm.
And they have not done a good job talking to this audience on their Facebook page. So the engagement was literally zero. Like they gave up. They're like, we're not even going to post anything.
Right.
And I told them that the only issue I see is that you guys are not talking about it right. You've been talking about all kinds of things, but not about what you should be talking about. So I told them it's not going to be a huge engagement right away, but if we add a little bit of money for targeted ads, it's easy to find your target audience. Let's put the content in front of them.
Right.
And so we started with a $50 ad each month, of course, with other posts.
Right.
But we targeted the area very, very well. So the engagement immediately the first month, we also had the videos, immediately was like 3,000%.
Oh, wow.
Compared to what it was before.
Yeah.
And like, I can't guarantee 3,000% higher engagement each month. But we literally had people liking and commenting, and you could immediately tell that we got the right strategy and we know how to talk to these people and where to put the ads in front of them. So ever since, it's been a very, very successful process. So we have regular engagements. Hundreds of people see the page from like zero, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good to see that, we're doing something right?
Right, yeah.
That's why you want to look at those numbers at the end of each month to confirm what you're thinking and what you plan, that it's literally working.
Right. So what are some horror stories maybe, or a failure? Is it people just give up, or is there posts you've seen that no, don't be posting that, or?
Oh yeah, I did tell one of my clients when we started working. I'm like, yeah, I can see how you're a nurse and, uh, you're doing this to your face and we see blood and all that. And it's beautiful, but most people just don't want to see blood. And we just have to stop this kind of behavior immediately.
Right.
We want to see the nice result, but not the during
Not the
process.
details.
No,
Not the gory
no, no.
details.
Most people, just you stir up their stomach and they're not gonna like it.
They don't want to watch anymore.
Yeah, but the one thing I really was disappointed. I had a client who, at our original meeting was very understanding. Oh yeah, let's do this, let's do that. And literally what he really was thinking is that he wants to pay for this service and will not want to be any part of this.
Oh, really? Just send
Which
it.
does not work.
Send it to you and forget it.
Yeah. So it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a small business, people want to see your passion,
Right.
how you do your work. You want to be part of the process. You want to, you should, be on pictures.
Right.
And you should put yourself maybe occasionally through a video. So you want to have to, be participating. You can't just like, oh, I just don't want to know anything about this part.
Right.
Because it's not going to work.
Right. Absolutely. Well, we are getting close on our time, so let me ask you, is there any other last thoughts that you have or anything you wish you want to share before we go off?
Well, I'm excited for you if you're in the process of starting this. Go for it. It's not going to be perfect, right?
Right.
But be brave and challenge yourself a little bit and, try things and see what works, what engages people, how you can talk to people that will become your customers. And if you're really not sure where to even start and reach out to someone like me.
Right. Well, and how can our viewership reach out to you if they want to learn more?
So you can look at my website, which is dash Kameleon with a K, so KAMALEON.com. And you can see kind of my portfolio or, what kind of packages I have to help you manage your social media or create that website. Or you can reach me, through email, monika.anderson@ekameleon.com. And my name, Monika, is with a K, by the way. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook.
Right.
You can pretty much
She
find
is
me
all
everywhere.
over. That is a fact. I see her content regularly,
Yeah,
and it is fantastic. I do appreciate seeing what you put out there too. So,
no problem.
and we will put all of that, of course, in the show notes as always. So, with that, Monika, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks
and
for having
all your
me.
insight.
Yeah. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.